All right, so we're going to kick into our tech notes here. So I'm going to be talking about a little thing called collections. All right, so Microsoft Edge. So collections came out, and they actually have an EDU branch, and I've talked with some of the engineers in their group and talked a little bit about the program. And collections was, I know at one point there was a Google extension that was kind of similar, but it was definitely something they were looking at for people to do research and do some different things. And so I'm going to talk about exactly what they are, where are they, and how to go through creating your extensions and working with them. But like I said, this is specific to Microsoft Edge. This is not a extension or an add-in. It's just built right into the program. So when you go in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you have your menu bar, and there's a little, you got right here with your, let's see here. All right, but you have your little back on crack. All right, Microsoft collections were created to help with researching, students in the classroom. And honestly, for me as a teacher, I'm just pulling different things that I'm researching. I'm pulling different websites in. So over here in the menu bar, I click on this collections, and I can start a new collection. I can give it a name. So we'll say PAECT Pod. All right, once that's created, the page that I'm currently on, I can add it from here, add current page. So if I go onto a different page, say I'm here on the glide, I can go back here into my collections, and I can open it, and I can add the current page. I can also right click on the page, and here in the menu, I get add. I could add all the tabs that are open to my collection. And you used to be able to do one at a time, but they only have that for the whole thing. So just individual groups, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go into the thing, and I'm going to add current page. All right, now they're listed here. So it's a way you could dump it in. And then a great tool is if you're, end of the school day, you were doing some work for lesson planning, you have 30 tabs open, that over here on the right, you can go ahead and right click, and you can say add all tabs to collections. Maybe it's a tab you had previously set up, a collection you had previously set up, or you can create a new one. So I'll do new one. And they just said add it to it. It gave it the date. So now when I go into my collections and click on that March 21st, all right, so that's set up right here, and there's 15 total web pages. When I click them, all the pages I was working on are immediately saved. So what's nice is if there was maybe I was looking for, maybe it was, so I'm doing a PD session on AI. I could click here where there's a little sticky note, and I can add a note and say, use these sites in the presentation. All right, I can change the color if I want different color coding. I can change my header, my fonts if I want to adjust everything, highlight it, make it italic, make it bold. Then when I change it, it's going to affect it. When I'm done, hit save. It's down at the bottom. What's a great feature is drag and drop. So if I'm like, okay, that note's good, but I want to see it when I first open the collection, I can drag it to the top. All right, when I'm going through, if I'm like, okay, this is the next day, I open up this collection. I really want to look at this. And here I highlight those three, and then I can go ahead and I can send them to an Excel file, send them to OneNote, send to Word. I can sort them. I can say open. So if I hit open all, it opens it in a new window. And here are those three that I had selected. But definitely a cool feature where I can send it to an app to be able to have it, if I wanted to, if I'm doing notes with somebody in OneNote, or I'm making a Word document as part of my, maybe my lesson plans at the end, I want to put it down. And then the cool feature is if I want to use the APA style, MLA style, or the different types of styles that when it does go into Word, when it does go into OneNote, it's going to give citations with it.
Oh, that's great.
I can say copy. And then when I do that, I can, find my window here. I could say, you know what? I need to email this to Dom. So I go into my Outlook, I click into the text body, and I can paste it, Control V. And then here's what I had selected. And it just kind of spaces them out. So that way, when I send it, he'll be able to go in and click and do some actions with once I send it, that HTML formatting once it goes. All right. So that's a really cool feature. That's a really great way to be able to add them in when I'm pushing the files into the program. But what I really love for the fact is I really started using this when I was doing my class was 100% online, and I had a lot of resources being used. And at that time, again, I know we always joke about Apple versus Microsoft versus Google and all that stuff. When Edge first came out, it was a lean, mean fighting machine. Now they've added a lot of things and it's got a little chunky. So it's, it's always like Edge, Safari, Chrome, Brave. There's all these different browsers that are always fighting the battle to be the least resource intensive. And at that time, Chrome was just bogging down my system. I had a Surface Book 2 at the time. And when I switched over to Edge, it was just a lot lighter. So I was able to have my Zoom window open. I was able to do work. But what I find every day to be very valuable is when I go into my collections, I just have one that I call Start Me Up. And you can right click on it and say open all. And it'll open it in this window. It'll open it in a new window and in a private window. So I'm going to go ahead and open it in this window. And now it's really going to bog down. And let's cross our fingers so we don't have to worry about what that says. But what it does is it actually puts it in its own tabbed group. Now I have vertical tabs open here. So some people like that. Some people may not. But now, so when I go for my day, I have my Google stuff signed in, my grade book, different drive folders I go to. Every day I give my students a Big Nate comic on their opening side when they walk in. Our IS TV studio has a YouTube page, so we want to be able to show that. Freckle, Prodigy Game, Formative. So I just have all the sites I'm going to be using that day at some point just automatically open in just one click. So I literally log onto my computer, pop that open. I right click on the collection. I open all the files up. Then I go walk and say hi to my other teammates. I know when I come back, all the websites are going to be up, and then I start plugging through and starting my morning routine. But it's a very quick, clean way for me to go. Because, I mean, if you really sat down and think about it, you hit 5 sites every morning.
Yeah.
You're going to be on your grade book. You're going to be checking this or that. Maybe you're, it's sports season. You're checking out the Steelers or something, right? I don't know why people in Western PA deal with that. But maybe there's those different sites that you're going to do. It's just part of your morning routine. And you're going to go ahead and just pop those open. And that way it's just sitting there and you don't have to worry about it. But I do know those people that they're afraid to reboot their computer. They have those tabs open 24/7, 365 days a year, and they just keep it going. And, sometimes the computers work well like that, but I just have that belief that every so often, if I can go ahead and shut my device down and give it a little breather, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, that reminds me of 2 tools. But before I go there, because I'm not going to say anything snarky, other than I know I've never had a browser bog down one of my Apple computers.
Oh, okay. You just went around when it crashed. Yeah.
There's a Firefox extension. I don't know if it's still active because I don't use Firefox anymore, called Morning Coffee. Jim Gates showed me that years ago, showed us as CFF coaches, where you can set up where you open up your browser certain days of the week. It pops up certain tabs that you're using that has that memory. It reminded me of that, but then it also has that wakelet functionality of I can go in and bookmark things, because I am that person where, like right now, I only have 3 tabs open on my computer, but I had about 45 before we got on the show to make sure I didn't bog down my internet. So I closed a bunch of tabs. I'm thinking, wait a second, like what, did a screenshot so I could see what was up there. But that's a great functionality, because I am one of those people that, even though I shut my computer down, I normally use Chrome, not Safari.
Yeah.
I've gone off Apple on that, but I save all my tabs. So in the morning it boots up, but you don't always need those tabs. So I've started doing them one by one, pulling them in the wakelet. Like I was at this conference. Here's what I used. I have all the tools up. If we have a show and there's a bunch, we have guests that are doing, like when we did the AI show, and we did the AI, or not the AI show, but we did the virtual reality, virtual learning webinar,
VR,
everything, the VR thing, everything we did. I put everything in one tab, in one window, all the tabs, save them individually in the wakelet. That would save me time by just, boom, pulling them over as a collection.
Yep. Yeah. And the points, bottom line is you need to know Firefox, Chrome. Like I said, Brave's a newer one. Edge, Safari. Some schools lock things down, some schools don't. Some schools allow you to pull extensions in, some schools don't. Some schools only let you pull certain extensions in. So, it's just good to know if you have any of those roadblocks. The nice thing about this, it is 100% just built in so that we don't have to worry about it. And very similar to your profiles in Chrome. Again, this is nothing new, but when I'm on my phone, I open up Edge, those all the different things that are there, my bookmarks, and those collections are there. They jump from profile to profile. So a lot of that, it's very nice, very neat to add. The one thing that I think that they have currently that, again, it's all about leapfrogging. One guy gets it, the next guy works on building it up, would be that citation piece. That's one thing I have not seen in many of those. And in fact, just recently within the last maybe 6 builds, I think they're on build 111. They're very close to Chrome's build as far as their browser goes. But the citation piece is definitely something very new. And that's what's really great about a lot of the companies is they're hearing direct feedback from educators. And that is definitely one that teachers were asking for. We want to make sure that the kids are able to cite the sources. So if they can pull it into a collections and then dump that into a Word file, they're typing up their thing. It'll have the sites, the websites cite it the proper way. So definitely very cool.
And that's nice because that's one thing I work with, even though I work in conjunction with the English teachers when it comes to the writing components of my class and the research components, verifying information, showing them MLA citations. I've taken them through the Purdue, the OWL site, which has citation machine and stuff like that up. And that makes it even easier. They can go through and, it'll do the work for them. It's a step easier than using citation machine or some of the other citation building apps, websites.
Yep. Definitely. And
Pretty
again,
cool.
The old phrase, there's more than one way to skin a cat. My students love when I say that. But it's important for us to know, because again, Edge came out, it was very, very streamlined, but if that starts getting, bogging down, I jump over to Chrome, if that one's working better at the time. And then I just need to know the different extensions, and then I jump over whether it's Firefox or Brave, whatever the case may be. And it's kind of the nature of our deal where it's beneficial to know a lot of the different applications are out there. So if things are blocked or, just not accessible, how can I jump over that hoop to be able to get what I need? So really good.
And even another standpoint, you're working with someone who is using something you don't normally use. And they ask for help. You need to be able to go in and work with them and help them out.